Hello and welcome to this quick video discussing the manufacture and import of PPE and medical devices in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Colm O'Rourke and I am the Industry Engagement Officer with NSAI Medical Device Division. This video is based on the quick guide which was produced by NSAI in relation to the manufacture and import of PPE and medical devices. This guide can be found at nsai.ie in our COVID-19 resource section. The guide outlines the following roadmap for placing such products on the market. First, you must define if the product meets the definition of PPE or medical device. You then identify the applicable directive or regulation and any applicable standards. You will then need to determine if testing of the product is required and if it is necessary to involve a notified body in the conformity assessment process. And finally, you will need to identify if the product must be registered with a national competent authority. I will initially discuss PPE in this video, followed by medical devices. PPE stands for personal protective equipment, and it can be a device or an appliance. The following are examples of PPE that may be used in the current COVID-19 response: face masks, gloves, protective eyewear, and protective coveralls. They are worn or held by an individual to protect against health and safety hazards. The legal framework which applies to PPE is the PPE Regulation, EU 2016-425, which can be found in the Official Journal of the European Union. It was adopted in Ireland in 2018 under the statutory instrument SI 136. An example of a harmonised standard that can be used in conjunction with this regulation is EN 149-2001, which is the standard for respiratory protective devices. Does NSAI certify personal protective equipment? In short, no. We are not designated as a notified body under the PPE regulation. However, we have provided you with a link that will direct you to the EU NANDO website where you can find a list of notified bodies that are designated to certify PPE. Also provided on this slide are individual links to the NANDO database where you can locate designated notified bodies for each of the product types listed. Finally, on PPE, I want to highlight that the National Market Surveillance Authority or competent authority for these products in Ireland is the Health and Safety Authority. It is important to note that a competent authority is appointed by the EU member state to perform a designated function and is given the necessary powers to conduct market surveillance and enforcement activities. I would now like to discuss medical devices. These are covered in section 4 of the quick guide. The following are examples of medical devices which may be used in the COVID-19 response: medical gloves, surgical drapes and gowns, ventilators, and nebulizers. The legal framework which applies to medical devices is the Medical Device Directive 93/42 EEC. However, this is being replaced by the Medical Device Regulation 2017-745, which was adopted in Ireland in 2017 under the statutory instrument SI 547. The MDR, or Medical Device Regulation, will be fully applicable from the 26th of May 2021. Both the directive and the regulation can be found in the Official Journal of the European Union. NSAI is designated as a notified body under both the Medical Device Directive and Medical Device Regulation. As such, we are authorised to conduct conformity assessments on those medical devices which require a notified body assessment and issue the relevant certificates. For more information on our medical device certification services, please contact medical.devices@nsai.ie. Finally, for medical devices, I want to highlight that the National Market Surveillance Authority or competent authority for medical devices in Ireland is the Health Products Regulatory Authority. Their contact information can be seen on this slide. Section 5 of the quick guide deals with other important information, such as the use of harmonised standards. Harmonised standards give presumption of conformity to certain essential requirements within the PPE regulation and the Medical Device Directive, or the general safety and performance requirements of the Medical Device Regulation. Please follow the link in this slide to access a number of relevant standards which are being provided free of charge by NSAI. It is important to note that in some circumstances there is an alternative to the use of standards. In the case of PPE, the World Health Organization have produced a list of alternative technical solutions that may be adopted by manufacturers instead of using standards. Please note that where these alternative technical solutions are used, a sample of the product will need to be tested by a notified body in the case of products falling within the PPE regulation. NSAI does not perform type testing for PPE or medical devices. However, this slide contains links to a list of EU laboratories that can perform this testing. Also provided is a list of globally recognized accreditation bodies, which may be useful if you need to determine the validity of a test certificate. It is important to consider the obligations of all economic operators in the context of PPE and medical devices. This table summarizes the main responsibilities of manufacturers, importers, and distributors. All economic operators have a role and obligation to cooperate with market surveillance authorities. For further information, the European Commission has produced a number of guidance documents in relation to COVID-19. These guidance documents cover PPE, medical devices, the conformity assessment process, and testing, as well as a number of other important areas. The links on this slide will be available in the description below the video. Finally, I would like to thank you for listening to this short video on the manufacturing and importing of PPE and medical devices. If you would like further information, please download the quick guide from our website or email covid19support@nsai.ie.